So our team, Unaiza, Yuri, Alberto, and my name, Maria, we are going to talk about the important concepts about KMS. So let's see the agenda. First, we are going to start with an executive summary and introduction, and then we are going to discuss the benefits of KMS, to see the challenges adopting KMS, the implementation, how is KMS within the organization, some important considerations to finish and conclude. So now let's start with the introduction, or what is KMS and how it's useful for organizations. Next slide, please. So KMS, or Knowledge Management System, it's an IT system that allows for collecting, formalizing, organizing, and sharing institutional knowledge, saving time and money to improve decision making. What we are going to see tonight is that it has many challenges, so implementing is not that easy. We will see that it is important to understand the mindset, the culture of the organization. It is important to have management support. Another of the challenges are the incompatibility between technology and the users, the information security awareness, and also lack of engagement. At the same time, we will see how important it is to identify and assess risks, to implement a change management plan, and understand KMS as a long-term investment, because KMS definitely needs to be an enabler. Next slide, please. So we are going to discuss the benefits of KMS, or describe the benefits of KMS based on the Porter's value chain. So basically, KMS system is really useful for all the primary or main activities, and also for the support or secondary activities within an organization. So basically, if we see in the inbound logistics, inbound, outbound, and operations, KMS, it's important to identify gaps, and then it will be able to improve operational efficiency while sharing communication within the teams in the organization, and also the suppliers and all the external stakeholders. So it will boost collaboration. And if we go to the marketing department, we will see how it will enhance the customer experience, because having KMS within marketing will allow understand and go deeper into the customer's needs and wants. So it will be very, very useful as well if we compare these benefits for the sales department, which is really close to the marketing department. At the same time, if we go to the supporting activities like HR, KMS is relevant in the training at the starting, when people is coming for the first time to an organization and get the first training, and also constant training is really important, as well as when someone is finishing its career or it's preparing a successorial plan. It is important to rely on KMS because it will save time. At the same time, it is possible to say that KMS allows continuous learning, which leads to employee satisfaction. Overall, it is really, really useful for the procurement department, because it allows standardized processes and forms. So the hiring process should be more agile. And then for the IT and infrastructure departments, KMS is in the core at the core of those departments. So it's really useful, and there's where the KMS is it's actually implemented. So finally, we can say that overall, the main benefit of KMS is that it enhances or it leads to a better decision-making process for the whole organization. Thanks. Next slide. So Yuri.
So, based on our research, we understood that how important the KMS is not only for the organization, but for the stakeholders interacting with the company. Unfortunately, implementing KMS, as said, is a challenging process. It's a very sensitive task, and only with the proper planning and commitment for all involved, it can be successfully done. If we look at the technology acceptance model in conjunction with the social technical system theories, they both can help mitigate the main causes of failure to implement the KMS by correctly adjusting the technology so the stakeholders can embrace it and use it as its full potential, always considering, of course, the balance between technology and the human being. So the knowledge management is more than technology, is part of the culture of an organization. And considering these two aspects, we could find some pitfalls during the implementing the KMS system in an organization, such as incompatibility with technology and users, lack of management support, information security awareness, and the lack of engagement, as said. And so we came up with a few solutions to help mitigate these problems, as designing a user-friendly platform, implement a culture in the company of mentoring that it can involve the upper management, and of course providing a safe and reliable environment so people can feel comfortable in sharing information. And for the lack of engagement, we can always thinking about rewarding programs that they're going to help to fix and help people participating. So next. Nice. Alvaro.
Okay, thank you, Yuri. For implementation of KMS according to change management, we can check the typical J curve, which is before the change, we have a sequence. During the change, this sequence will fall, and after a change, it will go higher, which is what we are seeking for. To apply change management, it is important to follow 5 points, which is social system change analysis, which is related to be aware to our people or to the employees of the change. In this case, the important thing is to have a good communication. In the other hand, a bad communication management can result in significant investment without being used the system or implementation that we are doing, and failing, obviously, the goals that we are looking for. Second, is the plan. It is quite important to have a clear vision and what we are looking with the change management. The goals of the change management will need to be present to all employees, to all aims to the same goal. Third will be empowering the team. Creating an environment of everyone is aiming the same goal will follow a good strategy to empower the team. So all employees will feel that that they are important for the change, and the change will or won't be effective if they are not present during the process. The fourth concept is refresh the organization culture, which is the idea. The main idea is that the change must be the new standard. This is because we don't want to return to before the change. And the fifth point is the feedback. It is important to receive the feedback of the employees according to the change what we are implementing. Next one, please. There is a model of change management named ADKAR, which is divided in two sections. The first one is the enablement zone, which is creating awareness to our employees. The desire, then the desire will be how we are going to face the resistance of the employees. The best way to face it is empowering them. The third one, the K, is knowledge, which is always provide training and coaching to our employees. This is the first zone, which is the enablement zone. The second part is the engagement zone. For the engagement zone, we have ability. Inability basically is to schedule practice runs before the change is fully implemented. Looking for employees that have or did a good job during the process. And reinforcement, which is related to monitoring the chain and basically, as we check in the last slide, to be this change management will be the new standard. Next one, please.
Thank you so much. We'll now try to understand how KMS is adopted or works within the framework of an organization. We here have two representations of what an organization's culture looks like. One is the competing values framework. This defines clan, where the people dynamics is important. Next is the hierarchy, where formalization and importance to processes is important. Next is the market culture, where the goals, results, aims, standards are extremely important. And the last is the adhocracy, where innovation is critical. Similar to the competing values framework, we also have the leader's guide to corporate culture. If you really see what the leader's guide is trying to say, it is in essence trying to break down what the competing values framework is, and opposing values like purpose and caring is pitted against results and authority. And within both of these frameworks, we are able to understand that depending on what the culture of the organization is what drives the necessity of what knowledge management is going to be. So knowledge management, so culture is definitely key to adoption of a good KMS or of any KMS system for that matter. You need a culture that listens, learns. You need a culture that emphasizes on the importance of managing the data, emphasizes on the importance of the accessibility of data to all, irrespective of the departments or processes. And it's in such a culture where a KMS would largely succeed. Knowledge management systems within these organizations is not necessarily about collecting the data, but it has a lot to do with the accessibility of this data. Hence, it's not just about collection and gathering, but also about the proactive responses that could come, and because of which artificial intelligence and database management systems both work in tandem for a good and efficient knowledge management system. Another important function for the success within the organization is the management buy-in. The leaders and the HODs or the management within a system, within an organization, need to support the KMS that is being implemented. And in terms of is there a particular department within which the implementation would be more successful? That answer would largely depend on identifying what the need of the organization or the department or the function is, and then accordingly being able to come up with an implementation and an appropriate change management strategy. When we're talking about KMS within the larger organization, we need to understand that it is responsible for it is considered as a long-term investment, which also means that you will not necessarily see that there is a direct impact on the whole profitability index of the company. Again, for it to be adopted, KMS needs to be an enabler within these functions and departments. It needs to be a place where people are genuinely able to find answers rather than it just being a place where they are updating data. That's pretty much it, and we'll move on to the next slide. Thank you.
So after this great conclusion about the culture, we just would like to make an additional consideration for multinational organizations, right? Because in this globalized world, companies in use or planning to implement KMS must attain to the importance of the regional culture difference and how it's going to influence the participation and adherence of the system. So the organizations have to promote a KMS framework flexible and adjustable enough to be molded and according to the stakeholders and their local behaviors, and of course their acceptance of technology. So as part of the solution, Vince, in his studies, he promotes that we should use a local facilitator to break the cultural barriers and help the system adjustment to the local reality, and of course, avoid resistance. Next, please.
Well, okay, as conclusion, we just check three key points, which is KMS is an environment that gathers different aspects of an organization. In the picture that is in the right of the slide, we can check that there is different environments like information management, human resource management, organizational learning, and where this environment crosses is where the KMS will stays. So it is important to follow different approaches to implement digitalization. This is because if we don't follow, for example, I don't know, the pyramid approach to check why we are implementing this digitalization, then there could be a project without any margin value at the end. Finally, it is crucial to do an analysis before any KMS implementation. It is very important to check if the social system is working properly before the technical system to be implemented. Next one, please. Well, this is all our presentation. Thank you so much and good night.